Why have there been massive plumes of chaff over Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, and now Maine and Florida? This is by State of the Nation. Joseph Trevithick. Warzone reports, now massive plumes of chaff are lighting up radar over Maine and Florida as well. The clouds of radar reflective countermeasures appeared over the states just 2 days after a similar mysterious incident occurred in the Midwest. 2 days after, a huge cloud of chaff lit up weather radar covering portions of Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, as well as social media. More plumes have now appeared over Maine and Florida. We have no official confirmation as of yet, but the formations look very similar in composition to the one that developed in the Midwest. A Virginia Air Guard C-130H was responsible for massive chaff cloud over Midwest. This is an article by John Trevithick and Taylor Rogaway, posted Warzone. Huge chaff cloud that lit up radars as it drifted across Midwest remains a mystery. Let's talk about that mysterious rocket launch over Whidbey Island photograph. You need to hear these FAA tapes from the Oregon UFO incident that sent F-15 scrambling. U.S. Air Force jamming GPS in the western U.S. for larger ever red flag air war exercise. The first reports of the apparent chaff plumes in Maine began to appear on social media around 5:30 EST on December 12, 2018. Early on, 4 distinct clouds were visible, but these had blended together into a large blob with a peak length of more than 100 miles by 7:45 p.m. That's about 2 hours later. The huge cloud was moving southwest and looking like it could easily drift into New Hampshire and even beyond. Mark Jr. tweeted, again, if not chaff, some neat areas of snow moving south from Maine. Rob Hart tweeted, reflectivity seems a bit high for chaff. In my opinion, he says, have you seen chaff return this high down there in the Keys, where it's much more common? Rob Herman tweets, today we are seeing this in Maine. Everyone is calling this chaff. It seems like a lot of chaff on radar lately, and it's very odd. So still on the NWS radar right now, it was still on there. And you can see the various images here. It's not clear exactly when, on December 12th, that the incident in Florida occurred. The plume developed over the Florida Keys and appeared to move northward. Very nice images. So far, there are next to no other details available for any of these new incidents. The official Twitter account for the National Weather Service station between Gray and Portland, Maine, issued an assessment that the formations in the area on the radar were very likely chaff, but there have been no reports as to what type of aircraft might have been involved. The Maine Air National Guard has just one flying unit, the 101st Air Refueling Wing, which flies KC-135R Stratotankers and is based in Bangor Air National Guard Base in the city of the same name, situated to the northeast of where the plumes first developed. However, the KC-135Rs are not equipped to dispense chaff. As such, another type of aircraft from another state's Air National Guard or an active U.S. military unit released the chaff over Maine. This was the case in which the chaff cloud that first appeared over Illinois December 10, 2018, later drifted into Indiana and Kentucky. As it turned out, a West Virginia Air National Guard C-130H Hercules airlifter flying through the area was responsible for that. In that case, the initial release was over a military operations area, MOA, a piece of airspace U.S. military aircraft can set aside for training purposes. This appears to have been the case again in Maine, with the chaff seeming to develop first over the Corridor 1 and then over and 2 MOAs. Southern Florida and the Florida Keys are full of various active and reserve component units that conduct regular training exercises in the area, so plumes in this region are not particularly uncommon. The Gulf of Mexico is also a massive playground for military combat aircraft to conduct air training events and has some of the biggest MOAs anywhere in the country. Another set of chaff clouds were recently visible in the same general area November 28th as seen below. And you can see the videos of those. Still, it seems unusual for so many large chaff clouds to keep popping up in so many places around the country in such a short time span. They've all generally been unusually persistent too, typically lasting multiple hours before finally disappearing from the radar screens. We've already reached out to National Guard Bureau, but at the time of writing, we've not received any additional information about this new incident over Maine. We're reaching out to additional commands regarding the plume in Florida as well, and we'll be sure to update the story if and when new details become available. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.